Right, so on to blue, starting with Astrologian's Planisphere. So Astrologian, again, I didn't really play... when I played Final Fantasy XIV, the first time I played through it, I played as a Dragoon. And then the second character I leveled was... Or the second class I leveled was a Gunbreaker? The tank. The tank with the gun blade. And that was very cool. And then the second time I played through, I tried Ninja, and then also leveled Dark Knight or Black Knight or whatever they're called. I think it's Dark Knight. The one with the huge two-handed sword, the other tank. That's not Paladin. Um, the healers never really did it for me. I feel like healing in Final Fantasy is probably more interesting than in other MMOs, because you're incentivized to do damage the entire. So a lot of the problem I had. So I played World of Warcraft. I've played Final Fantasy 14. I've played like Guild Wars and stuff like that. Like not massively. WoW and Final Fantasy are the two big ones, but I have played multiple MMOs. The big thing with a lot of like early WoW, I think it's different nowadays, but in early WoW, you were never really incentivized as a healer to do damage. You kind of just tried to spend all your mana on healing. Whereas a lot of the Final Fantasy jobs are incentivized, the healers are incentivized to do damage as part of their rotation to regenerate mana or generate some form of resource that you can then use to improve your healing. And I think it has a lot more to do with the fact that tanks in Final Fantasy XIV can kind of take care of themselves a lot more because they have a lot more what are they called? Like personals. So like when in Gunbreaker and Dark Knight, you have like you've got like 3 or 4 major personal defensive cooldowns, and then one that's I refuse to die. So because Gunbreaker has there's a natural one that all tanks get, which is 20% damage reduction. There is Gunbreaker has specifically the like a barrier they can put on themselves and an ally. And then there's a third one that Gunbreaker gets, and then obviously they have the bullet that makes them immune to damage. I think it sets you to 1 but makes you immune to damage. And then I don't think maybe they only have 4. Maybe it's only 4. But that's a lot more than like tanks in WoW, or it used to be. I think maybe tanks in WoW now get a lot more to play with. But they're on much shorter cooldowns, I feel like, in Final Fantasy. Like, I don't know. I find tanking in Final Fantasy to be a lot more dynamic because you have a lot more cooldowns to play with. And because the rotations in Final Fantasy tend to be quite simple, specifically for tanks, it's usually just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6 for AoE. And then sometimes you get like a more complicated phase where you hit a couple of other buttons. But but healers, I never really like healing. I was like, oh, this will probably be more interesting than WoW. But healing doesn't really do it for me. I have enough issues just fucking targeting the right thing on my screen. I don't have to target my allies and then switch back and forth and blah 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 blah. So yeah, I don't know. I never really played healers in any MMO. I guess I'm selfish like that. I like playing tanks, and I like playing DPS, but never really been a healer. Anyway, so that's why the Astrologian is one of the healing specs, and I've never really interacted with it, but they all the healing specs in Final Fantasy XIV, if you ever get a chance to try to check it out, do look very cool. And they're all very, shiny and lots of stuff happens, but yeah. I don't I personally don't care for healers. Sorry, I'm trying to do something quick once. Whatever, that'll do. Anyway, Astrogenous Plane Sphere is a 2-mana equipment that equips automatically onto a 1/1 that is a wizard, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, so this gives permanent prowess? Like, draw your 3rd card is a pain in the ass, but whenever you cast a non-creature spell... Yeah, this is like prowess, but it sticks around. Is that good? Maybe. It's probably fine, at least. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good, I think. I don't know. Again, it depends what Blue's doing, but if Blue's doing a whole bunch of card drawing and playing spells, then this is probably fine. It's an early thing you can do. You can just play this on turn 2 and then it equips to a 1/1, and then every time... Like, your opponent probably has to kill the creature, right? Or else you're just going to start playing spells and growing the thing. Not terrible in Limited, I don't think. Cargo Ship is a 2-mana, 2/3 flying vigilance with crew 1, and tap for colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of an artifact source. Okay, is blue the artifact? I mean, what? It's a 2/3 flying vigilance. If you crew it, it's... I don't know. Yeah, sure. It's probably fine. I don't really care for vehicles most of the time. Just like I don't care for equipment. Anything that isn't a creature by itself usually isn't great because your opponent can just make sure that it can't be anything, probably. Combat tutorial. 3 mana. Target player draws 2 cards, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Okay, don't hate it. It's better, whatever you call it. What's the 3 mana draw 2 that Blue's had since the beginning of eons? I don't remember, but it's just better that. So this, I like this card. I think this is okay. Dragoon's Wyvern is a 3 mana 2/1 flyer, and when it enters, you create a 1/1. Okay, don't hate it. It's not great. It's a 3/2 across 2 bodies, but you probably don't want to be blocking with a flyer. But, I mean, it makes a dude on the ground you can block with or do stuff with, and then this can hit in the air a couple of times before something gets in its way, probably. Not awful, not great, just kind of fine. Dreams of Laguna. 2 mana instant, surveyor 1, draw a card, you can flashback it, sure. This is fine. Edgar, King of Figaro, okay, is a 6 mana 4/5, and when he enters, draw a card for each artifact you control. And then 2-headed coin. The first time you flip 1 or more coins each turn, those coins come up heads and you win those flips. What? Is there coin flipping in this set? So, okay, so this guy is a 6 mana 4/5 that draws you a card for each artifact you control. Probably fine, depending on how the artifacts are again. And when the first time you flip a coin, 1 or more coins, they all come up heads and you win the flip. That very much depends on what coin flipping stuff there is. We haven't seen any yet, so I've got no idea. Eject. 4 mana. This spell can't be countered. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Draw a card. I usually don't care for blue removal because it just deals with a thing until it doesn't actually deal with the thing. It's just, yeah, I'll see you in a minute. But this does replace itself. It can't be countered. It's okay. Again, I'm still not a big fan of blue removal because it's never actually removal. It's just go away for a minute or like tap you down. But I mean, this isn't awful. Ether, a 4 mana artifact. You can tap to exile it, add blue. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay. I mean, This sounds cool because you 4 mana you play this and then later you can tap it, exile it to make an extra blue, and then cast a big spell and you get to copy the spell. But what this actually reads is turn 4, do nothing, your opponent beats your fucking face in. Like, you have to be already winning or just not getting attacked for this to be good, which kind of makes me think it's not. At least not in limited. I don't know, maybe this can be good later, but yeah, I think I don't like this in limited. Go-Go, Master of Mimicry. Okay, it's a 3-mana 2/4 with XX tap. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control X times. You may choose new targets for the copy. Sure. I mean, I don't really know. I don't think this is great, but I guarantee you there's something that makes this stupid. Whenever I see a card like this, and I see multiplying like activated or triggered abilities or something like this, or doing something weird with abilities like this, I'm like, oh, I'm sure you're busted in some way. I don't know if I'm smart enough to make it work, and probably not in limited, because the likelihood you get the card you want is and get this out and everything goes well and nothing dies, and you're essentially living in Christmas land if you think this is going to be as nutso as you're actually thinking. But I'm sure in Commander or in Standard maybe even, or whatever, this is probably going to be scary in some way or another. Ice Flan. 6 mana 5/4. When it enters, tap target artifact or creature and put a stun counter on it. It's got Island Walking. You probably just take at least one of these for the Island Walking. It's a decently sized thing. It is 6 mana, which is a lot, but I mean, it's a 5/4 that taps down your opponent's scariest thing for 2 turns. Sure, I don't hate it. You probably run 1 or 2 for the island cycling. Like, it's just like a free card, because if you can't play it in your hand, you just go get an island with it, so sure, whatever. Ice Magic. Okay, 2 mana for an instant, and then you get to pick either return target creature to its owner's hand, 2, or return target creature's owner puts it on top of their library, and for 8? Yeah, 8 mana, target creature's owner shuffles it into their library. I mean, you're probably just doing this for 2, right? This is a standard bounce spell. Maybe you do it for the 4 occasionally, but I don't think you ever do it for 8. If it was 8 for like Cyclonic Rift, I thought this was going to be like another Cyclonic Rift, right? For like 8. I'd have been like, oh yeah, Cyclonic Rift is really good. But this is one thing. You put one thing shuffled into their library. Like, Ilmeg Pixie. Okay, this is 14 again. I remember Ilmeg. Is a 2 mana, 2/1 flyer, and whenever it attacks, evade 1. Sure, it's fine. It's good. Got evasion on it. Sure, we'll take that. Jill, Shiva's Dominant. Oh, so this is going to turn into Shiva. Is a 2 mana 3/3, and when it enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, so you can bounce something that you don't like. Cool. And then for 5, exile it and then return it transformed, which is Shiva, Warden of Ice. A 4/5, which has target creature can't be blocked this turn. Then target creature can't be blocked this turn, and it can attack, so it can be herself. And then tap all lands your opponent control. Then it comes back, and you can return another permanent. I mean, this is another one, like, your opponent has to do something about it, or it's just going to keep going back and forth, right? Which is annoying, but this is nowhere near as good as the dragon guy, right? It's just not. She's just not as good as the dragon guy. It probably still wins you a game, right? Because if this comes in, bounces something, and then you get the chance to flip it, one of your creatures is getting through for 2 turns, and then you're tapping out all the lands your opponents. The thing is, they only tap for your turn because this flips at the beginning of your turn. So it goes to 3 at the beginning of your turn. You tap all your opponent's lands, which they probably, or if they're playing things, they've already tapped them all, and then this comes back and bounces something. I think she's fine. I don't. It's not, game. It's not as good as the white dragon guy that does the same thing, but this is probably fine. Louis. Oh, this is Louis Soir. I think that's how you say his name. Louis Soir. This is the intro cinematic for Final Fantasy 14, where he gets Bahamut nuked, right? 2 mana. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or... Oh, sorry, 1 mana. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a legendary creature or pay 2. So 3 mana or sack something. Counter target activates ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is Alizé and... Alphino's grandfather, right? At the start of 14, when he gets hit by a small nuclear explosion. I mean, I don't really care for counter spells in Limited. So, and this doesn't even counter a creature, so like, meh. But, I don't know. Maybe people, this will turn out to be really good in other formats, but I think in Limited I'm just kind of meh. The Lunar Whale is a 4 mana 3/5 flyer. You may look at the top card of your library any time. As long as the Lunar Whale attacked this turn, you may play the top card, and it has crew 1. Okay. This is fine. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I don't know. I don't like vehicles. I don't really care for vehicles. But this does have crew 1, which means if you have any creature or play any creature after this comes down, it can be crewed. And as long as it can be crewed, you can play the top card of your library, because then it can attack. And even if it dies, you can still play the top card of your library because it did attack this time. So I don't hate this because it does give you extra value off the top of your library, but like, I just don't really care for vehicles. Magic Damper. 1 mana, type creature you control gets +1/+1, hexproof, and untap it. Sure, this is very similar to another card that does exactly the same thing? What does, oh, maybe it doesn't give the +1/+1 counter. Oh, no, this isn't a counter, this is just +1/+1. What am I thinking of? I don't know. I remember it having an otter on it or something. No idea. Matoya! Hey, Matoya, you grumpy old lady. 3 mana for a 1/4. Whenever you scry or surveil, draw a card. Okay. Don't hate it. There is some surveil. I haven't seen mass amount of scry yet, but there's definitely some surveil in here, right? There's 1. There's 1. So yeah, like, there's some surveil, I guess. She's probably not good. She's a 3 mana 1/4. She doesn't attack. She probably just sits there and does nothing. Blocks, I guess, but Memories Returning is a 4 mana sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand, then choose an opponent. They put 1 on the bottom of your library, then you put 1 into your hand, then they put 1 on the bottom of your library. Put the other in your hand. Sure. It's like draw some cards. You get to pick first, so you probably get the best card, and then your opponent just gets rid of everything else, gets rid of the next scary, and then it's probably just like lands and stuff that you probably don't really care about. But I mean, this isn't awful. It's what, 4 mana, draw 3, but you know, you don't actually draw them. You get to pick, which is probably better. Yeah, I think this is okay. Like, my problem with this one is, like, you get the first card, so that's probably the best of the top 5, right? And then your opponent gets rid of the next one, and then you get the third one, and then these last 2 are probably lands. So your opponent gets rid of a land, and you get a land. But you still drew 2 usable cards, theoretically, and your opponent got rid of whatever the second best one was. So this is probably fine. I think the last... This put the other into your hand. This last one is almost 90% of the time a land. But the other one's probably fine. The Prime Vista, 5 mana for a 5/3 flyer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, this becomes an artifact creature until end of turn, or it has crew 2. Sure. I'm not high on vehicles. I think the whale was fine. I think this is just sure. Quirin Merchant, sure, is a 3 mana 1/4 with 1 tap, draw a card, discard a card. Okay, filtering's nice. 7 mana tap, sacrifice this creature, draw 3 cards. It costs 1 less to activate for each town you control. Haven't seen any towns yet. But I mean, this isn't, again, it's a 3 mana 1/4 that actively, because Matoya doesn't actively draw you anything, right? Because whenever you Scry or Surveil, draw a card. So if you don't have any Scry or Surveil, she just is a 1/4. But this actively does draw a card and discard a card. This does, like let you set up a decent hand, right? So I think this is probably better than she is, weirdly. I don't know about towns, so... I'm not trying to say that name. Whatever that name is. 3 mana for a 2/2. Blue magic. When they enter, you may cast target instant sorcery card from your graveyard, and mana of any type can be cast to spend to cast that spell. If that spell will be put into the graveyard, exile it instead. Yeah, this is a common blue thing. This is... I mean, the issue is she costs 3, so you'd need, like... 6 mana to cast something half decent from your deck. Maybe there's 2 mana things. Like, you'd need 7 mana to cast Memory Returning. But I mean, maybe you can cast like Magic Damper or something. But she doesn't have Flash, so that's kind of pointless because doing anything. Sure, she doesn't have Flash or anything, so it depends. Like, what are you casting with her, right? Because you can't cast any reaction stuff, so maybe Ice Magic. And for like 5, Eject costs 7. This costs 5, but then those have Flashback. And does she say she gets rid of them? Exile it, yeah. So there's no point. I mean, I guess you get the Flashback cards for cheaper. Because this is Flashback 8, and this is Flashback 4, right? Where the fuck is that? Okay. Yeah, this is Flashback 4. So I guess technically you get it cheaper because you just get to free cast it for whatever its a mana cost is, but like then they get exiled anyway, so I'd probably go for a thing that doesn't have Flashback. I don't know. Realm Sketching. 4 mana sorcery, create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature, or land. Sure, clone something. Could be good. Is this a Pictomancer from 14 as well? Just making something out of the ink. I never really played Pictomancer, so. Retrieve the Esper. Okay, is a 4 mana sorcery, create a 3/3 artifact creature. Then, if this spell was cast from a graveyard, put 2+1+1. So it's a 4 mana 3/3, but it is an artifact, which could be good for stuff. Meh. And then for 6, it's a 5/5. So it's always one less than the mana you spent to cast. But in blue, that might not be awful. There might be things that want you to cast non-creature spells. There might be things that care about how many artifacts. This is okay. It's nothing exciting, but sure, whatever. Rook Turret is a 4 mana 3/3 flyer, and whenever another artifact you control enters, you may draw a card if you do discard a card. This is fine. It's a flying 3/3 for 4. That's kind of it. That's fine. Sages. It's the Sage's little laser cannons, the Noiliths. I don't know I don't know what they're called in FF14. Like I said, I never really played them. Is a 2 mana 1/1. Sorry, a 2 mana 2/1 because a quick creature is +1/+0 and has whenever this creature attacks, untap target attacking creature and is a cleric. 2 mana 2/1, I guess, but like, right? Like, this is the most meh thing I've ever seen. Sahajin, I think they're called. I don't remember what they're called. 2 mana 1/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana is spelled to cast on it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and it can't be blocked. Sure, like this is okay because it can't be blocked and it steadily gets bigger. This is fine as long as you have the spells to trigger it, but I don't know how much you're going to have in a limited format, but or whatever. Scorpion Sentinel, 2 mana 1/4. As long as you call 7 or more lands, it's a 4/4. I think by the point that it's a 4/4, it doesn't matter that it's a 4/4 because 7 lands people are going to be playing absolute game-winning bombs. But sure. Is this the thing that chased me down the mountain in 7? Was it a scorpion, not a spider? I do not know. Okay, it's not that. Side quest, card collection. When this enchantment enters, draw 3 cards, then discard 2. Good, it does something when you play it. At the beginning of your end step, if 8 or more cards are in your graveyard, it turns into a 4/4 flying artifact vehicle with crew 1. This does something which I think makes it more interesting than the white one, but it is 1 more expensive, and all it does is draw you 1 extra card. And then when you flip it, it's a 4/4 flyer. I mean, it's fine, I guess. Again, I'm not too up, or it's not too exciting. It's just not really particularly what I'm interested in, right? It's an enchantment. This one at least does something when you cast it. So for 4 mana, it draws 3, discards 2. But yeah, it's just not. The flip side is just a 4/4 flyer with crew. So if you don't have any creatures, you can't do anything. It just sits there. I mean, it does turn any creature into a 4/4 flyer, which is nice, but I'm not too excited. Sleep Magic, tap. Okay, yeah, 1 mana, you enchant something, it becomes tapped and doesn't untap, and when it's dealt damage, sacrifice this. Oh, so it wakes up. Yeah, okay. Stolen Uniform, 1 blue. Choose target creature you control and target equipment. Gain control of that equipment until end of turn. Attach it to the chosen creature. When you lose control of the equipment, if it's attached to a creature, unattach it. Steal an equipment? Sure. I don't. Maybe the equipment cards are nuts, but I don't know. Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Okay. 3 mana flash. Enchant artifact or creature, and when it enters, tap it, and enchanted permanent doesn't untap, and it can't be. Yeah, sure. These are like blue removal, sort of. So this and like sleep are like blue removal. I guess steal the artifact is interesting. But again, I have no idea what artifacts we're looking at, so don't know. Summon Leviathan is a 6 mana 6/6 with Ward 2 that, first of all, returns each creature that isn't a Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, Octopus, or Serpent to its owner's hand, so it bounces everything. And then for turn 2 and 3, whenever this or any of the other things that weren't bounced attacks, you draw a card. So this is 6 mana, bounce your entire field, then swing, draw a card. It dies. Like, at bare minimum with just this on the field, right? Play this, bounce everything on your opponent's side of the field, and yours, assuming you don't have anything else, just this. So everything just goes away. Then your opponent's turn, they play out whatever they can. Your turn, you swing with this, right? You just do. Draw a card, and assuming your opponent blocks it with enough to kill it, this dies. Like, assuming you don't have any Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, Octopus, or stuff. Have we seen any of those? There's a Merfolk. So assuming you don't have anything that triggers it. This is 6 mana, bounce your opponent's entire field, attack for 6, draw a card. Sure. Like, that's fine. It's not incredible, but what are you going to do? It's probably fine. Summon Shiva is a 5 mana 4/5. He does have Ward 2 as well, which makes him a little bit more annoying to interact with. Congratulations, Leviathan. Right. Is a 5 mana 4/5. Tap target creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. Tap target creature an opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. Draw a card. Draw 2 cards. And you get 1 attack in there as well. It's probably okay in limited. I'm probably not giving it enough credit. That's probably good, because it taps down 2 things, draws you 2 cards, and probably deals 4 damage. Okay. I don't hate it. Swallowed by Leviathan. 3 mana instant. Choose target spell. Spell 2, then counter the choice. It's a counter. Counter the spell, and a control place 1 for each card in your graveyard. Yeah, I don't really play counters in limited. I have to admit, they kind of don't really do anything for me. Syncopate's back. I still, again, it's a counter spell. But Syncopate's a good one. Thief's Knife is a 3 mana 2/2 and has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and it's a rogue. I mean, this probably doesn't get through, right? This probably just on turn 3 you play a 2/2, so on turn 4 you attack with a 2/2. Your opponent's just going to block that shit. There's no way that's getting through. I think if this was a 2 mana, maybe, but as a 3 mana, this is kind of just too expensive, I think. So, I mean, maybe it's okay in blue, but Travel the Overworld. 7 mana, affinity for towns. I still don't know what a town is. Draw 4 cards. Have we seen towns? Are towns like artifacts or lands? Maybe they're lands. Maybe the towns are lands. So we'll have to see. But 7 mana, draw 4 cards. I mean, if you can get this cheaper, if you can get this to like 4, this is really good. But I don't know what towns are yet. Ultros Obnoxious Octopus is a 2-mana 2/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana are spent to cast it, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 8 mana was spent to cast it, put 8 +1/+1 counters on him so he becomes a 9/8. Sure, I don't know how many big spells there are. I mean, this is 5, 6, 7, so that doesn't do it. Syncopate you could do for 8, I guess. I guess Flashback Memories Returning for 9. And that's kind of it, right? That's the 2 spells that trigger it currently in blue. Sure. Valkyrie Aerial Unit is a 7-mana 5/4 affinity for artifacts. That's probably more likely to come up. It's got flying, which means it has evasion, so it's pretty good. And when it enters, you surveil 2. Yeah, I don't mind this. I think this is pretty good, right? It is a creature, it's not a vehicle or anything. You don't have to crew it or any crap like that. You can probably make it cheaper because you're probably playing maybe a couple of artifacts. There seems to be a lot of artifacts in this set, so you're probably playing a couple. So this is probably like a 6 or a 5-mana 5/4 flyer that surveils 2. It's pretty good. The Water Crystal, of course. So it's 4 mana, blue spells cost 1 less. If an opponent would mill that many cards +4. We haven't seen a single mill. Oh. Then for 6, each opponent mills cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. This is a lot worse than the white one, I think. I mean, mill is good in limited because your opponent has so few cards in their deck. Also, sorry about that. I don't think my Discord should be going off. I think shouldn't it be in the whole I'm streaming mode? I don't know. Apparently it doesn't care. So you might occasionally hear the sound of me getting Discord messages because Discord hasn't recognized that we're streaming. But hey. Yeah, I think this is considerably worse than the white one. But it's probably still good in certain situations. But, like, it does technically win a game by itself because if you do the whole 6 and tap, you can mill someone and then they mill 4 extra, so it probably can win a game by itself, but this is 4 to play and then 6 to start milling stuff, like by that point, I don't know. Maybe this is your game-winning card and you just have a bunch of really defensive blue and white healing stuff, try and keep yourself alive, but like, You stole her! Hey girl. A 6-mana 3/5 at the beginning of your end step, exile target creature you control. Then return it to the battlefield to flicker. Then, if it's your first end step, there is an additional end step. How many things do stuff when they enter in this deck that we would actually want to flicker? I guess the sagas. There's also nothing that really cares about end steps, right? Huh. I mean, she's a 6-mana 3/5. This probably isn't very good. In limited specifically. Because I haven't seen anything that would make this really good, right? Have we seen any, like, crazy end step triggers yet? You could, like, bounce the sagas to keep doing whatever sagas you want to do so they never die, but, like... Oh, we're on to black. That's the last one. What did I think of blue? As per usual, I am a bit meh on blue. There's just... I feel like there's some synergy pieces and just not a lot of, like, really good... So, my problem with blue is always the same thing. They don't really have any good ways to just kill people. Like, I guess the planisphere is a good way to kill someone, because you can eventually get a big dude. But blue's always more of like a... Also, there hasn't been any coin flip stuff. So blue is always just kind of a support color, right? And as a support color, it's fine because you can draw cards with it and stuff. But if that's all it's going to be, when I look through this, I should just be like, oh yeah, there's a draw spell, that's good. Oh yeah, there's a draw spell, that's good. Like, it's very hard for me to evaluate without doing the multicolored first and then seeing what the multicolored wants to do with the different colors and then deciding how blue works with the other colors that are going to be doing the heavy lifting. Because, like, blues, if you go mono blue in a draft, you're essentially just saying, I want to come last. Because blue just doesn't really win draft by itself. None of these, apart from maybe the water crystal, strike me as a card that can win a game by itself. Like, even Leviathan's not winning a game by itself. Not unless you manage to chip your opponent down to, like, low enough that you can... I mean, maybe if you're doing something with this guy and you've managed to chip them down by making him unblockable repeatedly, and then you play this and bounce everything apart from him. Because he would trigger, right? Non-creature spell. This is... Oh, it is a creature, though. Do these count? I'm assuming these count as creatures. So, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Blue always strikes me as just a support color, which makes it hard for me to evaluate because I don't know what other cards it's supporting. But like in the white, yeah, if in the white cards there were a bunch of cards that I'm like, you will win a game, you will win a game, you will win a game. In this one, I'm just kind of like, there's the lady that flips and is slightly annoying. I guess she will eventually win you a game. Where is she? Oh my god, she's way far. This one. She'll eventually win you a game because she can make something unblockable and then return things and then make things unblockable and then return things and then make things unblockable. Like, eventually she will win. But apart from that, blue doesn't really do anything. It doesn't kill anything. It doesn't have any good attackers. It's just, yeah, it's just, eh. Apart from maybe this thing can do some damage, but that's about it. So yeah, blues